Thanks for keeping it a date with us here on our YouTube channel. We love you and we have something cooking for you, our beloved followers. Together, let's make this vision beyond reality. Let's showcase to the world the African Nigerian child that has a patent for learning and education and to expunge the indifference tag to blacks in diaspora. Thanks for staying glued to us every other day. Today we'll be deliberating on the definition of vowels and consonant, which makes up the speech sound. Now, what is a vowel? A vowel is a speech sound produced without obstruction or audible friction in the mouth. Two articulatory organs that are involved in the production of vowel sounds are the lips and the tongue. Vowels are learned by listening and imitating. Like we speciated in the last edition, there are 12 monophthongs and 8 diphthongs. Pay close attention. Let's take you on the slow ride of discovering the English speech sound and, of course, learning more about the word banks of the junior high school category. You'd learn a lot from watching and subscribing. Property, property, projects, projects, political, political, imaging, imaging, building, building, reference, reference, quadrant, quadrant, attorney, attorney, navigate, navigate, investor, investor, another, another, pension, pension, favorable, favorable, distribution, distribution, realistically, realistically, ventures, ventures, vacancy, vacancy, agreement, agreement, litigation, litigation, violation, violation, determine, determine, disgust, disgust, tradition, tradition, profitable, profitable, certificate, certificate, peppers, peppers, relative, relative, however, however, resources, resources, mistakes, mistakes, advisor, advisor, strategic, strategic, repeating, repeating, monthly, monthly, employee, employee, applies, applies, program, program, appreciation, appreciation, associated, associated, obligation, obligation, strategize, strategize, selective, selective, bankruptcy, bankruptcy, documented, documented, legitimate, legitimate, hazard, hazard, strategy, strategy, background, background, represent, represent, partnership, partnership, management, management, limitation, limitation, equity, equity, business, business, corporate, corporate, essential, essential, available, available, attempted, attempted, investment, investment, financially, financially, security, security, expertise, expertise, employer, employer, opportunity, opportunity, conventional, conventional, placement, placement, leverage, leverage, purchase, purchase, bringing, bringing, acceptable, acceptable, important, important, liabilities, liabilities, government, government, violate, violate, transaction, transaction, significant, significant, permission, permission, cumulative, cumulative, severally, severally, responsible, responsible, standard, standard, approach, approach, appliance, appliance, pointing, pointing, different, different, manuscript, manuscript, activities, activities, intangible, intangible, reading, reading, generally, generally, forward, forward, payment, payment, virtual, virtual, resource, resource, perhaps, perhaps, immense, immense, alternative, alternative, memory, memory, consequences, consequences, regulation, regulation, perspective, perspective, potential, potential, liability, liability, typically, typically, financial, financial, principle, principle, treatment, treatment, techniques, techniques, thriving, thriving, however, however, excellent, excellence, excellence, successful, successful, selective, selective, numerous, numerous, reputation, reputation, particular, particular, describe, describe, expanding, expanding, classical, classical, increase, increase, situation, situation, perceived, perceived, ownership, ownership, document, document, remember, remember, attorney, attorney, limited, limited, aggrieved, aggrieved, dividend, dividend, interests, interests, substantial, substantial, percentage, percentage, fungible, fungible, everything, everything, binocular, binocular, gardener, gardener, coordinator, coordinator, whatever, whatever, containment, containment, nuclear, nuclear, contractual, contractual, intellectual, intellectual, leverage, leverage, first hand, first hand, tangerine, tangerine, smaragdine, smaragdine, Laodicean, Laodicean, franchising, franchising, quotation, quotation, potentially, potentially, tautology, tautology, experiential, experiential, marsupials, marsupials, credibility, credibility, contemplating, contemplating, cardiopulmonary, cardiopulmonary, insemination, insemination, estrangement, estrangement, carboniferous, carboniferous, sophisticated, sophisticated, typographical, typographical, playback, playback, schedule, schedule, man-hells, man-hells, absolutely, absolutely, Sydney, Sydney, clamped, clamped, pregnancy, regulatory, opportunities, opportunities, organization, organization, implementation, implementation, unfortunate, unfortunate, Mandela, Mandela, unconscious, unconscious, claroscurist, claroscurist, redundancy, redundancy, parenthesis, parenthesis, independence, independence, axorius, axorius, doppelganger, doppelganger, cephalopod, cephalopod, strategically, strategically, psychedelic, psychedelic, resuscitation, resuscitation, meteorological, meteorological, escapologist, escapologist, cardiovascular, cardiovascular, superannuation, superannuation, characteristically, characteristically, association, association, supper time, supper time, uncovered, uncovered, character, character, celebratory, celebratory, blackout, blackout, especially, especially, awareness, awareness, comprehensive, comprehensive, entrepreneur, entrepreneur, exemption, exemption, constructions, constructions, ambassador, ambassador, conscientious, conscientious, amphibian, amphibian, privatization, privatization, exclamation, exclamation, exaggerated, exaggerated, potpourri, potpourri, buccaneer, buccaneer, soliloquy, soliloquy, unsolicited, unsolicited, reincarnation, reincarnation, encephalopathy, encephalopathy, staphylococcus, staphylococcus, erythrocyte, erythrocyte, decaffeinated, decaffeinated, slabification, slabification, underprivileged, underprivileged, borrower, borrower, lunch break, lunch break, crowbar, crowbar, laser beam, laser beam, workaholic, workaholic, Grammy, Grammy, gonadotropic, gonadotropic, cataloging, cataloging, proprietorship, proprietorship, technology, technology, forward, forward, underestimate, underestimate, ironically, ironically, questionnaire, questionnaire, co-elentrate, co-elentrate, subsequent, subsequent, centimeter, centimeter, sesquipedalian, sesquipedalian, alternatively, alternatively, commingled, commingled, paragliding, paragliding, disarmament, disarmament, aeronautics, aeronautics, epidemiology, epidemiology, bureaucratic, bureaucratic, sympathetic, sympathetic, vasoconstriction, vasoconstriction, cash flow, cash flow, frigging, frigging, earthquake, earthquake, glorious, glorious, daughter, daughter, attempts, attempts, hormones, hormones, amphibious, amphibious, patentability, patentability, credibility, credibility, strategic, strategic, complicated, complicated, bewildered, bewildered, crustaceans, crustaceans, elucubrate, elucubrate, multinational, multinational, retirement, retirement, chairwoman, chairwoman, benevolent, benevolent, ichthyology, ichthyology, reimbursed, reimbursed, eccentricities, eccentricities, extrasensory, extrasensory, hyperactivity, hyperactivity, thermography, thermography, electioneering, electioneering, buccaneering, buccaneering, unceremoniously, unceremoniously, chromosome, chromosome, odontalgia, odontalgia, incentive, incentive, quarters, quarters, perspective, perspective, advertise, advertise, factorize, factorize, mechanize, mechanize, acquisition, acquisition, qualified, qualified, garments, garments, necessities, necessities, destination, destination, childhood, childhood, territory, territory, understood, understood, depression, depression, financial, financial, anonymous, anonymous, cussing, cussing, breweries, breweries, preferable, preferable, midweek, midweek, experienced, experienced, contagious, contagious, non-vascular, non-vascular, commentary, commentary, mechanism, mechanism, repayment, repayment, convertible, convertible, exemption, exemption, licenses, licenses, purchases, purchases, capitalists, capitalists, unlimited, unlimited, non-fiction, non-fiction, potential, potential, observant, observe, hurdles, hurdles, magically, magically, backyard, backyard, gardener, gardener, ignorant, ignorant, unknown, unknown, prosecuted, prosecuted, wistfully, wistfully, factories, factories, cropping, cropping, impression, impression, grooming, grooming, vicarious, vicarious, photographic, photographic, formulated, formulated, paramedics, paramedics, incentives, incentives, extremely, extremely, permitting, permitting, accredited, accredited, supplier, supplier, collateral, collateral, minimum, minimum, generally, generally, department, department, instance, instance, pursuit, pursuit, eliminated, eliminated, reverend, reverend, transforming, transforming, familiar, familiar, brightness, brightness, competitive, competitive, redeeming, redeeming, simultaneous, simultaneous, remarking, remarking, pragmatic, pragmatic, forgiveness, forgiveness, illustrations, illustrations, incredibly, incredibly, immaculate, immaculate, serenity, serenity, resentment, resentment, sensibility, sensibility, splintered, splintered, expensive, expensive, lenders, lenders, warrant, warrant, deferred, deferred, proposition, proposition, worthiness, worthiness, maximum, maximum, substantial, substantial, offering, offering, liability, liability, fulfillment, fulfillment, possessions, possessions, adjacent, adjacent, familiarity, familiarity, planning, planning, recognition, recognition, survival, survival, apparently, apparently, unpleasant, unpleasant, abundance, abundance, tabernacle, tabernacle, reinforced, reinforced, precursor, precursor, mustache, mustache, wondrous, wondrous, licensing, licensing, bandaged, bandaged, corroborate, corroborate, diatribe, diatribe, heresy, heresy, eulogists, eulogies, regardless, regardless, Cretaceous, Cretaceous, cited, cited, mutated, mutated, Philadelphia, Philadelphia, gentleman, gentleman, grocery, grocery, surprised, surprised, somebody, somebody, nationality, nationality, secretary, secretary, probability, probability, dinosaur, dinosaur, thinking, thinking, threesome, threesome, addition, addition, sidewalk, sidewalk, largest, largest, wonder, wonder, vehicle, vehicle, nonsense, nonsense, emotional, emotional, umbrella, umbrella, monitoring, monitoring, downstairs, downstairs, demagogue, demagogue, quarterly, quarterly, necessary, necessary, valuation, valuation, partnership, partnership, credibility, credibility, authorship, authorship, features, features, battered, battered, prototype, prototype, approach, approach, clouded, clouded, litigation, litigation, research, research, numerous, numerous, retain, retain, extended, extended, terminate, terminate, minimize, minimize, kitchen, kitchen, sufficient, sufficient, heavily, heavily, specified, specified, viability, viability, advertising, advertising, premium, premium, demagogy, demagogy, appraise, appraise, mortgage, mortgage, handyman, handyman, advisors, advisors, facility, facility, copyright, copyright, accurate, accurate, manufacture, manufacture, plagued, plagued, neither, neither, inventor, inventor, capability, capability, patent, patent, trademark, trademark, contribute, contribute, closet, closet, calculated, calculated, license, license, assumption, assumption, advanced, advanced, conventional, conventional, contractor, contractor, effective, effective, relatively, relatively, stretched, stretched, recognition, recognition, leery, leery, converter, converter, between, between, resources, resources, debtor, debtor, assume, assume, consultant, consultant, reasonable, reasonable, securities, securities, collateral, collateral, ownership, ownership, consider, consider, monetary, monetary, increase, increase, rewards, rewards, intangible, intangible, suffered, suffered, develop, develop, anticipate, anticipate, milestone, milestone, private, private, mezzanine, mezzanine, extremely, extremely, unproven, unproven, seeking, seeking, evidence, evidence, guarantee, guarantee, synergists, synergists, enamored, enamored, adequate, adequate, quadrant, quadrant, dealing, dealing, equity, equity, sequential, sequential, pursuing, pursuing, investiture, investiture, weakness, weakness, however, however, appreciate, appreciate, probably, probably, monthly, monthly, director, director, monetary, monetary, diminish, diminish, concerned, concerned, market, market, required, required, understand, understand, royalty, royalty, available, available, historical, historical, patentability, patentability, practical, practical, greater, greater, attention, attention, permission, permission, activities, activities, particular, particular, approaches, approaches, investor, investor, acquire, acquire, capitalist, capitalist, realistic, realistic, speculate, speculate, spreading, spreading, emerging, emerging, retiring, retiring, unanimous, unanimous, obligation, obligation, service, service, percentage, percentage, commentators, commentators, consultant, consultant, theory, theory, founders, founders, launching, launching, comparable, comparable, sustainable, sustainable, sophisticated, sophisticated, coverage, coverage, complete, complete, collaborate, collaborate, radioactive, radioactive, embellish, embellish, cannibalism, cannibalism, colonialist, colonialist, believed, believed, francophone, francophone, aberration, aberration, sometime, sometime, mayor, mayor, hold up, retardation, retardation, something, something, evacuate, evacuate, attacked, attacked, returned, returned, survived, survived, completely, completely, reported, reported, officials, officials, describing, describing, smallest, smallest, recession, recession, development, development, contributors, contributors, youth spar, Friesland, Friesland, afternoon, afternoon, buttress, buttress, prevaricate, prevaricate, enormous, enormous, vandalism, vandalism, Polynesian, Polynesian, billionaire, billionaire, island, island, handsome, handsome, beautiful, beautiful, Korean, Korean, implantation, implantation, warning, warning, guardian, guardian, defendant, defendant, perfection, perfection, unharmed, unharmed, relocated, relocated, thousand, thousand, healthy, healthy, distraction, distraction, standstill, standstill, contingent, contingent, campaign, campaign, psychological, psychological, wimping, wimping, restricted, restricted, lieutenant, lieutenant, antipathy, antipathy, obdurate, obdurate, aberrant, aberrant, equivocal, equivocal, incipient, incipient, radiation, radiation, specifically, specifically, FWIM, FWIMs, criminology, criminology, impresses, impresses, cardiac, cardiac, sergeant, sergeant, Manhattan, Manhattan, accuser, accuser, sideline, sideline, cameraman, cameraman, jersey, jersey, injured, injured, antagonists, antagonist, bombing, bombing, unhappy, unhappy, emergency, emergency, sensitive, sensitive, roadshow, roadshow, physically, physically, lifetime, lifetime, checked, checked, checking, checking, diabuse, diabuse, precipitate, precipitate, fawning, fawning, literally, literally, Godzilla, Godzilla, anomaly, anomaly, nuclear, nuclear, completely, completely, soaked, soaked, grateful, grateful, classy, classy, vascular, vascular, commander, commander, sightedness, sightedness, disappear, disappear, footage, footage, palette, palette, broadcast, broadcast, fearsome, fearsome, protagonist, protagonist, jammed, jammed, managers, managers, Disney, Disney, represent, represent, buildings, buildings, spiritually, spiritually, opportunity, opportunity, projected, projected, discovery, discovery, feigned, feigned, pragmatic, pragmatic, aerologist, aerologist, ironically, ironically, trellis, trellis, dinosaur, dinosaur, exposure, exposure, Cassandra, Cassandra, commitment, commitment, pronounced, pronounced, expression, expression, airplane, airplane, initially, initially, temperance, indication, indication, animation, animation, chopper, chopper, throughout, throughout, anticipate, anticipate, electrical, electrical, Madison, Madison, looters, looters, ownership, ownership, insurance, insurance, radically, radically, forgery, forgery, terrific, terrific, borrow, borrow, material, material, prominent, prominent, expectation, expectation, circumstance, circumstance, disgust, disgust, accumulate, accumulate, accomplish, accomplish, accomplished, accomplished, contracts, contracts, mentioned, mentioned, productive, productive, imagine, imagine, capacity, capacity, constrain, constrain, scenario, scenario, typically, typically, basically, basically, example, example, concerned, concerned, milestone, milestone, station, station, missile, missile, comparison, comparison, projections, projections, leverage, leverage, pretendable, pretendable, launched, launched, approached, approached, applicable, applicable, sequential, sequential, strategy, strategy, products, products, veteran, veteran, investment, investment, vendor, vendor, restrictions, restrictions, anticipate, anticipate, expenses, expenses, minority, minority, minimum, minimum, bringing, bringing, discussed, discussed, immediate, immediate, valuation, valuation, feasible, feasible, available, available, passing, passing, physical, physical, prohibitive, prohibitive, aggressive, aggressive, packaging, packaging, industry, industry, promotion, promotion, particular, particular, distinct, distinct, sufficient, sufficient, position, position, demonstrable, demonstrable, perceived, perceived, significant, significant, retiring, retiring, probably, probably, majority, majority, purchased, purchased, confidential, confidential, chapter, chapter, recurring, recurring, sequencing, sequencing, tradition, tradition, irrespective, irrespective, creating, creating, projection, projection, concurrent, concurrent, mechanized, mechanized, favorable, favorable, co-signed, co-signed, intermediary, intermediary, disclosure, disclosure, regulates, regulates, crystallize, crystallize, menacing, menacing, gobbling, gobbling, irrigational, irrigational, feminine, feminine, morning, morning, explanation, explanation, adolescents, adolescents, ambitious, ambitious, carmakers, carmakers, maintained, maintained, adventure, adventure, flipping, flipping, announcer, announcer, overwhelmed, overwhelmed, accomplish, accomplish, unconscious, unconscious, proposition, proposition, significance, significance, generalized, generalize, existing, existing, contacting, contacting, determine, determine, merchant, merchant, scrutiny, scrutiny, education, education, exceptions, exceptions, backhand, backhand, Francisco, Francisco, windowless, windowless, anticipation, anticipation, accompany, accompany, nightmares, nightmares, eventually, eventually, substitute, substitute, shrugged, shrugged, assignment, assignment, foundries, foundries, atmosphere, atmosphere, exception, exception, conversible, conversible, pronunciation, pronunciation, instincts, instincts, elementary, elementary, extended, extended, parallels, parallels, leverage, leverage, discussion, discussion, minimize, minimize, wade, wade, passive, passive, innovation, innovation, attempted, attempted, category, category, concept, concept, commercial, commercial, otherwise, otherwise, modicum, modicum, scenarios, scenarios, substantial, substantial, selective, selective, alternative, alternative, funding, funding, allocated, allocated, converter, converter, extension, extension, concerned, concerned, applicable, applicable, appreciate, appreciate, purchase, purchase, limiting, limiting, intangible, intangible, contractual, contractual, competition, competition, determine, determine, equipment, equipment, channels, channels, restaurant, restaurant, impressed, impressed, oppose, oppose, included, included, identify, identify, valuation, valuation, geniality, geniality, sanitize, sanitize, greasy, greasy, booths, booths, credible, credible, proposal, proposal, performed, performed, situation, situation, enthusiasm, enthusiasm, component, component, economy, economy, skeptical, skeptical, conserve, conserve, difficulty, difficulty, negotiate, negotiate, conference, conference, component, component, investor, investor, mechanic, mechanic, demonstrate, demonstrate, officially, officially, enforceable, enforceable, expected, expected, permitted, permitted, attended, attended, designer, designer, restricted, restricted, awarded, awarded, reported, reported, euphoria, euphoria, creation, creation, marketing, marketing, produce, produce, contribute, contribute, triumphant, triumphant, illustrate, illustrate, although, although, materials, materials, advantage, advantage, software, software, exaggerate, exaggerate, percentage, percentage, infringer, infringer, keywords, keywords, 18, 18, correspond, correspond, variety, variety, provided, provided, designed, designed, download, download, attending, attending, contemplate, contemplate, strenuous, strenuous, featuring, featuring, combining, combining, lender, lender, exclusive, exclusive, establish, establish, problems, problems, resulting, resulting, artwork, artwork, protectable, protectable, fortune, fortune, hypothetical, hypothetical, recognized, recognized, quantity, quantity, internet, internet, entered, entered, standard, standard, dilution, dilution, hampered, hampered, concerned, concerned, searched, searched, franchise, franchise, ultimate, ultimate, commission, commission, discount, discount, prominent, prominent, separation, separation, shooter, shooter, Milwaukee, Milwaukee, historic, historic, reminder, reminder, confident, confident, sources, miseries, miseries, anomalous, anomalous, quarantine, quarantine, expecting, expecting, reservation, reservation, dictionary, dictionary, conferencing, conferencing, gratitude, gratitude, clomiphene, clomiphene, compression, compression, obtaining, obtaining, instances, instances, causes, causes, assemble, assemble, providing, providing, collateral, collateral, engender, engender, veneration, veneration, landmines, landmines, contacted, contacted, impeachable, impeachable, tohubohu, tohubohu, prerequisite, prerequisite, sophisticated, sophisticated, appliance, appliance, alteration, alteration, generate, generate, packaging, packaging, payment, payment, percentage, percentage, personal, personal, dogmatizes, dogmatizes, assuage, assuage, suggestion, suggesting, confirmation, confirmation, astronomical, astronomical, assemblage, assemblage, thrombosis, thrombosis, decline, decline, flavored, flavored, scoreboard, scoreboard, tractable, tractable, laconic, laconic, homogeneous, homogeneous, digression, digression, lightning, lightning, positions, positions, approximately, approximately, transcendental, transcendental, arachnids, arachnids, globalization, globalization, recourse, recourse, rigus, rigus, objection, objection, establish, establish, assuming, assuming, placate, placate, quiescence, quiescence, realized, realized, subtitle, subtitle, convoy, convoy, transition, transition, electrodynamics, electrodynamics, spongiform, spongiform, desuetude, desuetude, institution, institution. And that concludes the words from the junior high school category. I hope by listening you've learned a lot. And of course, when you encounter them in any competition, you should know what to spell as fast as your hands can carry you. That takes us to the end of today's episode, brought to you by World Best TV. Join us again next week. We promise to bring you another exclusive courtesy of World Best TV. This is the place to be. This is the home of champions, the home of intelligent scholars from West Africa, Nigeria. You don't have to be told about National Spell Battle of Champions Season 6. Catch us next week for another educational bite from National Spell Battle of Champions. Stay connected. Till then, bye-bye.